Okay, this is 8G9, 8th grade geometry, standard 9, video 2, volume of a cone and sphere. This is the second of two videos. We have already learned about the formula for a cylinder, and today we're going to finish off these last two formulas. I believe you already have these terms in your journal, so double check, make sure if you don't have them to get them in there and define them. All right, volume we've discussed before. It's the amount of space that a solid occupies. It is measured in cubic units. And to measure volume, you can imagine unit cubes filling up a solid, and there are layers of them. All right, we are talking about the cone right now. And the given formula for the volume of a cone is V equaling 1/3 multiplied by pi multiplied by the radius squared and multiplied by the height. And it's kind of similar to the V equaling BH. If we were thinking about the cylinder, we dealt with V being capital BH, and since the base is kind of the same idea of a circle, we still have our pi r squared h, except now with the cone idea, we are going to be taking that capital BH and we are going to be dividing it by 3, which is the same thing as multiplying it by 1/3. So kind of the same idea here, just one additional idea of this third, or dividing by 3. All right, let's plug in some information that we have from the example down below. We're going to solve one of these. It looks like the height of the cone right here, h, is known as 8 centimeters. And then they give us the radius. That's great. They did not give us a diameter, so we don't have to cut that diameter in half to find the radius. They gave it to us, so we're going to use it. And the radius is known as 3. So let's plug in here. V is equal to 1/3 multiplied by pi multiplied by the radius, which was 3, and we're going to square it and multiply it by 8. All right, let's just continue on the computation here. V is equal to 1/3. We're going to keep our answer in terms of pi, like we have been. So keep pi in the answer. 3 squared is 9 times 8. Okay, moving on. Next step. V is equal to 1/3. We're going to keep pi in there in terms of pi, and then 9 times 8 is 72. All right, I like this, showing all of our work here. Now, we need to figure out what 1/3 of 72 is. A couple different ways. Not really a fan of the calculator right now. The numbers aren't horribly big. So we could take our fraction of 1/3 and multiply it by a fraction of 72, which is 72 over 1, and then we can attach our pi to the end. Multiplication is commutative, so we could move things around out of order and it won't change the answer. All right, so is there anything we can cross cancel here of 3 and 72? Well, 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 72. I believe that is 24 times. Okay, we are ready for the answer. The volume is going to be equal to 1 times 24 is 24 over 1. So we have 24 simplified pi. Let's pick out our units. And we are using these solids, so we are in the 3-dimensional world here. Final answer in terms of pi. Okay, the other formula that we need to know is the formula of a sphere. And Not the greatest picture up here, but I think you can see that we have this line segment going from the center of the sphere to the edge of the round. And then this is known as the radius. So once again, they were nice enough to give us the radius. So all we have to do is plug in the given information to the formula. And the formula here is 4/3 multiplied by pi, multiplied now by the radius cubed. Okay, let's substitute in our values. V is equal to 4/3 times pi, leave it in terms of pi. Now the radius in this particular example down here is 8 meters. So we're going to go with 8 cubed, 8 times 8 times 8. All right. V is equal to 4/3 multiplied by pi. Now we need to see what 8 to the third power is. That would be 8 times 8 times 8. We could take out, maybe now's the time for the trusty calculator. All right, 8 times 8 times 8. All right, 512. Okay, continue on. This looks to be commutative again, so we could use our commutative property, rearrange these numbers the way we like them. So V is equal to 4/3 multiplied by 512 multiplied by pi. Now I'm not going to lie here. I'm going to take out my calculator for this part of the problem. Okay, so I have the quantity of 4/3, and I'm going to multiply that by 512. And we have a mixed number here, which is okay. Final answer will be V equaling 682 2/3 pi, and our unit was meters in the third dimension. Final answer. Okay, in your journal, please define the given terms on page 2 if you haven't already done so in a previous lesson. Write a few sentences on what you've learned from the video. Write down any questions that you might have, and we will continue to do a number of these examples in class with the cones and the spheres. And we're even going to put a few of these three-dimensional figures together and try to figure out the volume of, I don't know, let's just say we put a cone on top of a cylinder, and we're going to figure out the total volume of the entire three-dimensional solid. Okay, we'll do that in class. See you there.